Hey everyone, Anthro OG here, and today I'm going to talk about what both Ronald Reagan and Star Trek got right. And I'm just going to be honest, Ronald Reagan is not my favorite politician, but in this instance, I feel that he was right. So in 1987, while addressing himself to the United Nations in the National Assembly, Reagan posited that the only thing that would bring humanity together would be an existential crisis, an outside threat. And he used the example of aliens and then started kind of talking about war and if we had to fight aliens, and I'm paraphrasing obviously, but if we had to fight aliens, we would soon forget our differences and be able to work together and collaborate together, right? I agree with him, except I don't think it needs to be aliens. I think that the perfect existential crisis would be the global climate disaster that we're currently in, global climate change, and the catastrophe that we are living in. This isn't like 20 years from now. This isn't 30 years from now. This is happening as we speak, right? And so why does that have to do with like this idea of Star Trek and coming together? Well, in Star Trek, Earth was basically able to come together behind the power of science and curiosity and existential threats and come together and work together to go where no human has gone before, boldly go where no human has gone before, right? And I think we could do that. And it's relevant to the global climate disaster because there aren't American oceans. There aren't Russian oceans. I know we have different names for them, right? But really there's one global ocean. There's one global climate system that runs and functions and is destroyed for everybody at the same time, right? If the Atlantic Ocean is being polluted, then it's not just the Atlantic Ocean or people around the Atlantic Ocean that have to deal with those consequences, right? It's the entire globe that has to deal with those consequences. What are the causes of this global climate disaster that we're currently living through and facing? I argue that it is colonialism, cash crops, and industrialism. And colonialism and cash crops, well, even if you think about global capitalism and its humble beginnings, right? This idea of using natural resources as a commodity, not just to build your own home or even to build your own army, but as a commodity that you can trade on the market. Then through colonialism, getting people to grow cash crops once all of their other natural resources were taken is another way that we degraded the environment. If you think about what it takes in order to grow fields of cash crops. So what is a cash crop? It's in the name, anything that's grown for cash. Think cotton, think rubber, think sugar, think tobacco, anything that's grown just for a commodity's sake, for cash. Right, and oftentimes what these colonists would do to their colonies, they would use force, taxation, all these other things, and force them to grow these monoculture cash crops, oftentimes sowing the seeds of famine within the colonies themselves. And what does that do to the land? Well, first you have to clear the land, right, in order to grow, let's say, sugar. You got to get rid of the forest. Right? You want to grow rubber trees, you got to get rid of the forest. Something similar is happening right now in Indonesia with the palm oil, right? You got to get rid of the forest. And then you grow this same crop over and over and over and over again. What does this do? It depletes the nutrients in the soil. It's almost like taking like gold out of a mine from a place. Right? And then once industrialism really takes place, this is exponentially worsens the situation, because now we're talking about coal mining. Now we're talking about steel and other natural resources and exploiting the ones from within the home countries, and then afterwards going to the colonies and exploiting those resources. So those countries that industrialized first, they have a head start. How'd they become rich? Most Western nations, by exploiting natural resources of their own country, but then by exploiting the natural resources of their colonies as well. And so this becomes problematic when we're looking at the global climate situation now. And sometimes our first solution is, hey, Brazil, don't cut down your rainforest. I agree. I don't want Brazil to cut down the rainforest. But we did. We cut down our forests in the United States. Cut down the forests in England and France and Germany and many of the other Western nations. That's how we got as rich as we are today. So it's kind of hypocritical to just say, hey, Brazil, don't cut down your rainforests. It takes a global society, the globe, the earth together to say, hey, if you don't cut down your rainforest, we're going to help you out financially. We don't think that you should be stuck in the status that you're currently in by not exploiting the resources that help all of us. These are the global lungs. The same with oceans, right? Are some parts of the ocean or oceans dirtier than others? Absolutely. But just because one part of the ocean is dirty doesn't mean that the other part is clean. These are global ocean systems, global climate systems that keep everything coming together. And that's where I come in with the Star Trek part, right? I think we have a lot to learn with Star Trek. If we come together, we get rid of our differences and we see that we're in this struggle together, then I think we'll be much better off. So live long and prosper. I hope I didn't get too nerdy on the Star Trek route, and have a great day. Thanks for listening.